let's dive deep today
Yeah.
into something really fascinating in martial arts strategy.
Okay.
We're going to be talking about Kûkan,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Space.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Japanese word for space.
Yeah.
And we're going to be looking at how understanding this concept
Right.
can completely change the way you think about combat.
Yeah, for sure.
So we've got some really good stuff lined up today.
Awesome.
We've got some wisdom straight from Masaaki Hatsumi,
Okay.
plus some other interesting sources that kind of connect this idea to just broader philosophical principles.
Yeah, very good.
So get ready to have your assumptions challenged.
Yeah, I'm ready.
So what I think is so fascinating about Kûkan is that it kind of turns everything on its head.
Right.
About what a lot of people think about martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people think it's all about brute force,
Mm-hmm.
speed,
Yeah.
just overpowering your opponent.
Absolutely. Yeah, you see that a lot.
Right? It's like the bigger, faster, stronger fighter always wins.
Right. Yeah, that's the assumption.
Right.
Yeah. That's what we think about when we think about fighting a lot of the time.
But Hatsumi says something really interesting.
Yeah, what's that?
He says, and I quote,
Okay.
if you will let go of strength and you will let go of speed, you will start to be able to use Kûkan, the space.
Wow.
So that's a very different way of thinking about fighting.
It is, yeah.
I'll admit that quote kind of threw me off.
Yeah.
When I first read that, I was like, wait, letting go of strength?
And speed. Doesn't that seem like the opposite of...
Yeah, what you'd want in a fight.
Exactly.
Right.
It's counterintuitive, for sure.
Totally.
But I think if you think about it,
Okay.
strength and speed are finite resources. Like, you can only be so strong.
Yeah.
You can only be so fast.
You're only human.
Exactly. You're only human, right? This idea of Kûkan, it's about tapping into something that's limitless.
Okay.
It's about potential.
Okay.
It's about seeing that space between you and your opponent, not as just empty space, but as this dynamic, ever-changing field of possibilities.
So it's not just about like seeing the space,
Right.
but almost like understanding how that space is constantly in flux
Yes, exactly.
and how you can like manipulate it.
You got it.
Right.
You're manipulating the space.
Yeah.
You're sensing those shifts in energy.
Yeah.
The changes in distance.
Yeah.
And you're using that to your advantage. Think of like a swordsman.
Okay.
A master swordsman isn't just reacting to their opponent's blade.
Okay.
He's feeling those shifts
Yeah.
in the space between them, almost like a pressure wave.
Wow.
This allows him to move not just away from danger,
Right.
but into the perfect position
Yeah.
for a counterattack.
So he's using the space
Exactly.
to create opportunities.
Yes.
And that makes me think about that other source that you sent me
Right.
that talked about utilizing the space between you and your opponent.
Yeah.
It's like that space isn't empty
Not at all.
at all.
It's full of possibilities.
It's full of possibilities. It's almost like learning to see
Right.
the entire board in chess,
Yeah.
not just like the pieces.
Exactly. You're seeing the whole picture,
Right.
the whole field of play.
Yeah.
But there's another layer to this,
Okay.
which brings us to the concept of zero,
Right.
or mu in Japanese.
Mu.
Okay?
This is where things get really interesting.
So mu or zero,
Right.
this is like the idea of emptying yourself of like preconceptions.
Yeah.
Right.
Emptying your cup,
Oh,
so
yeah.
to speak.
Yeah. So how does that
Right.
help you in a fight?
Well, think about it this way.
Okay.
If you go into a fight with a rigid mindset,
Like, I'm going to block this attack. I'm going to do this.
right.
You might miss a subtle shift in the space that would have given you a better option,
Right.
a more advantageous move.
So it's almost like by emptying your mind, you're actually opening yourself up
Right.
to more possibilities.
More possibilities, yeah.
Because you're not limited by
Yeah.
your preconceived notions.
We're not locked in.
Right.
We're able to adapt.
So you're not just like reacting to your opponent.
Right.
You're like influencing the space itself
Bingo.
to create opportunities.
Dude, that's exactly it.
Wow.
You're thinking like a Kûkan master now.
That's what I like to hear.
Right.
You know, what I think is really cool about these deep dives is that we can uncover these really powerful concepts.
Right.
And then suddenly we start seeing them everywhere.
Yeah.
It's not just limited to martial arts.
Absolutely not.
This idea of letting go to perceive the space, to utilize the space.
Right.
I mean, you see that?
Yeah.
I don't know. You could see that.
In life.
In life, you could see that in business.
Right. In relationship.
Relationships.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Think about a business negotiation.
Okay.
If you go into that negotiation with your mindset
Right.
on, I have to win, I have to get my way,
Yeah.
you might miss those subtle cues.
Right.
You might miss the shifts
The shifts in the space.
in the space of that negotiation. Maybe there's an opportunity for compromise
Yeah.
that you didn't even consider
Right.
because you were so focused on
On winning.
winning.
On being right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So really, Kûkan is about moving beyond limitations,
I think so.
whether they're physical or mental,
Yeah.
to achieve a higher level of awareness,
Right.
a higher level of control,
Yeah.
and ultimately put yourself in a better position.
Exactly. You're
Yeah.
seeing the potential that exists within the space itself.
So if we take this concept even further, could we apply Kûkan
Yeah.
to the space
Where else could we apply it?
between our thoughts,
Ooh,
between our emotion,
I like that.
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
because that space exists too.
it does.
Yeah.
So could mastering that space between
Right.
our thoughts help us manage our emotions better?
It's possible, right?
Yeah.
Could it help us unlock creativity?
Unlock new creative pathways.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a really interesting question.
That's an amazing question.
And I think it's something worth exploring because maybe that's the real essence of Kûkan. It's not just about mastering the space between us and someone else.
Right.
It's also about mastering the spaces within ourselves.
So it's like a journey inward and outward at the same time.
Exactly.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for joining us
Yeah, this was great.
on this deep dive into Kûkan.
A fascinating topic.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's a concept that I think can transform not only how we see the world, but also how we understand ourselves.
For sure.
So until next time, keep exploring those spaces.
I will. And everyone else out there, keep exploring those spaces too.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome. Take care.
We'll see you in the next deep dive.
That's good.
Yeah.